People think that entrepreneurship is all about the business.
That's not true. Absolutely not true. Once you know yourself, who you are, what do you want, what you already know within yourself, you will definitely be successful. That I guarantee you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Personal Development for Entrepreneurs. We are at episode 15 now. We've come a long way from last year.
Yes.
And I'm with Dr. Venga Kalachulu,
Good
my
evening.
mentor, self-management extraordinaire. In today's topic, we want to discuss making it count. What you do today will determine your future. And how we came about this topic is, Venga and I were discussing something just a few days ago. And in it, I was telling Venga, to make ringgit 1 million is actually quite easy. All you have to do is put aside some money every month, right? And in a couple of years, in 10 years, right, you can actually have $1 million. It depends just how much you want to put every month in. And it's as easy as that. So Venga asked me, why doesn't everybody do that? And I was thinking, yes. I mean, why didn't I do that when I was much younger? And it got me thinking. Basically, at a younger age, I thought, 10 years from now, 8 years from now, it's too far away.
Far away.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I want something now. And we keep forgetting that what we do today actually determines our future.
Yeah.
Because the future, there's a huge disconnect between now and the future. We cannot relate to the future from where we are today. And I'm hoping that you will be able to tell us why and how we can bridge this.
We talked about Warren Buffett and what did he say, and you remember that conversation.
Yes.
Tell the people what
Warren Buffett, basically his strategy for investing is based on compound interest. Compound interest is supposed to be, according to Albert Einstein, there's a quote attributed to him on this. He says compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. Yeah. And because of that, right, just by putting money every month aside and leveraging compound interest, you can be a millionaire. It's that easy. But people don't want to do it because it's a slow process. It takes time.
Exactly.
And anything beyond tomorrow is too far into the future. Why
Absolutely.
is that? Why is that happening?
Well, I think the reason is this. Every young person, look at this. I am 80 years old. Ikhram, you are?
41.
So I'm double his age. Can you see the difference between young man and an old man? See, I see life more or less coming to an end. He see life at the beginning. But if he saw life, say 20 years ago, as something that he looked at the future when he was 40, when he was 20, imagine yourself, what kind of a person will you be?
I would be very different.
Different.
I had the wisdom I have now, I would have done so many things different at 20.
Exactly. Absolutely. Why is it that we are not like that? It is because of this is a human nature. Because we are in a lot of way evolved through this. We are not supposed to look further than tomorrow. Because we always were told, you don't know whether you'll be alive tomorrow, whether you'll be alive next day. Yep. So don't worry about the future. Look at today. Forget about tomorrow. So, you see, we have always been, in a way, drilled into us, Yep. And then we went through, people went through several wars and all that. So the question of planning for the future is not one of the key things that a person is taught. Yet, education system, the moment you enter a school, the first thing they give you is a timetable.
Absolutely.
Meaning, for the whole term, they give you a timetable. Monday, what subject? Tuesday, what, everything is given to you as a planned thing. This is what we will cover.
Correct.
Yet the teachers or the school or the parents never even sit down to try to make the child understand. You come from a very educated family, and probably you never even saw. They also never looked at their future. They just took one day at a time and moved on. Yep. See, this is inherent problem. But in the same way, say you talk about heaven as an example. Wow, that's the future. As if there's something really sitting there, So we are, in a way, we are being brought up with different sorts of thinking. If young people who are listening to this, if today you can change that mindset of yours, which is tomorrow is as important as today. The week forward is as important as today. That what I do today, the impact of what I do today will be in 1 week or 2 weeks. I'll see the result.
Correct.
Like we know this for a fact. We plant a plant. Okay? We are looking for the fruits. And some of them can be as soon as 3 months or 6 months or 1 year or 2 years. We know this. Yet we don't apply that same principle in our life. The reason is very simple. It's our upbringing. We are not being taught that. Nobody explains this when we are young, coming up. Saving is not important, as an example. Me, as an example, I started saving on my own because 1 cent a day. I started with 1 cent, and then 5 cents, and then 10 cents, and then 1 ringgit, and so on and so forth, okay? So this is something that is crucial. We are not taught that, okay? So we don't care about tomorrow. But when we start to care about tomorrow, then automatically you will slowly develop that particular, I call this a skill. It is not something inherent in you. It's not born with you.
Yep.
Okay? Because, you see, like, people who live, for instance, in countries that are 4 seasons,
Yep.
then they plan for the winter. Animals plan for the winter. You can see that in all the movies that you see about animals. Human also plan for winter, for summer. They plan.
Yep.
But these people are only in the Nordic, in the northern part of the hemisphere. But the bulk of the population, which is living in the equatorial region, the Mediterranean region and all that, guys pagi, makan pagi. We don't plan for the future.
Yeah.
Then the government introduced, like in our case, in the 50s, EPF, Employers Provident Fund, meaning as a reserve for you to take care of yourself when you're much older. Now we realize that EPF is not enough to pull you through life, because you retire at 60, you will live up to 90, 30 years. It cannot support it. So people who are listening to this must understand that you have to plan for your tomorrow, for your 60, for your 80, for your 90. You will live that long. So unless you start to think that way, you will end up with, like most people, help. You need help. And our social system does not have that kind of help. So you need that. So why don't we do it? We don't do it because we always saw that death is something that's going to come anytime. It doesn't come anytime. It'll come, I don't know when. But the fact is that unless you plan for everything that you want to do, you will be the one that eventually feel that you have not done enough to cater for your old age. And this is a common problem with humans, because we see others and we follow them. Now, take an example. Why do you need to buy a house? You know you're going to die anyway.
That's a very good question.
We buy a house. Why? We buy a house because we want to live. We don't want to pay rent. Fine. But then, after you're dead, you give something to your children. Why don't you start thinking like that? You're young. Yes, you need a house. Yes, you need to save. Yes, you need to think of the future. Yes, I got to look for tomorrow. I got to look for next week. You see, people who plan. See, as I explained many times, okay, time is always moving at a speed, and is moving at the same time. Life is always looking backward. What they did yesterday. What did I do wrong? We are going backward to look at the mistakes we made. We are stuck in the past. We have no time to look at the future. We are the one who's creating the problem ourselves. Nobody sits down and say, what will I do tomorrow? What should I do tomorrow? What should I do five years from now? And people created goal system and all that. All that is an important part of life. We have to think like that. When you enter school, the first thing they give you is a timetable.
Yes.
For the first term or the second term or third term, why did they give you a timetable to ask you to prepare? But nobody sit down and explain to you, hey, this timetable is to train your mind to look at the future. For me, I saw it that way. The moment I understood what's a timetable, then I realized, hey, they are having it, the tool they have, but they are not going out explain to the children, because next week it will be history. So you can actually do some revision, read about it, ask some question. So you are prepared to absorb. You are prepared yourself to absorb whatever the teacher is going to teach you. Now, we're not prepared. We go there and we are blank. And because you have not prepared a file in your mind, in your brain, so that's why your absorption of what the teacher is teaching or reading is not getting in, because there's no file. So this is preparation. You see, like as an example, before you go to bed, as a simple example, before you go to bed, if you think of, hey, I want to do 1, 2, 3 things tomorrow, MAN, morning, afternoon, and night. Okay, if you prepare, morning I want to do this, afternoon I want to do this, night I want to do this. Okay, if you prepare before you go to bed, strangely enough, when you get up in the morning, your mind will be very clear of what you have to achieve, the 3 things tomorrow. This is clarity. Planning gives you that clarity. Okay? We do a lot of things. But if you just spend 1 minute planning, you will save 5 minutes. In anything that you do, you spend 1 minute, you will save 5 minutes. So
I've seen that in action.
Yes, exactly. So if you plan 5 minutes, you will equally, how much time?
25 minutes.
Exactly, you will save that. And this has been proven. And we have sat down to prove this already in the 1960s. My first book deals with that too. That is, that 1 minute of planning can save 5 minutes in anything. Life is like that. So why don't we do it? We don't do it because this skill is not taught. Parents don't teach. Yes, because we came from that kind of situation where what we need, we can go to the neighbor's shop and buy, or we immediately do it.
Yep.
Instant gratification. We go and get it done now. This is life. Now they can predict weather. Maybe 50 years ago, 100 years ago, nobody could predict weather. So you can see that we have come this far. Right now, as a human, if you don't take time off to plan for the future, say a month from now or 2 months from now, you will be the loser. The people at the bottom of the triangle in the demographic, the people who don't plan, will always be the poor people.
And it's madness to me when you think about it, because in example myself, right? I in the past I would procrastinate. I'd say I want to get this, or I want to get there, but I'll do it later. I'll do it tomorrow. We don't realize that by not doing it now, that later is never going to come.
Yes.
You're never going to get there.
Absolutely.
Somehow we don't realize, we don't see that connection. We don't see what I eat today is going to determine whether I'm healthy or not tomorrow.
Absolutely. Yes.
What the money I save today is going to determine how much I have tomorrow. That relationship seems to be, we seem to miss that.
Like, absolutely.
Absolutely.
You see, most people have children. The reason why they wanted to have children is not because they love children, but because they wanted help in the farm.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it's.
This was the old days.
We are agricultural people. I mean, all humans are. So they need that human. But then we moved to the city. In the city, you don't have plantation to plant. You work for somebody. Then you find the number of children reduces. Instead of being 10 and 15 children, you have 1 or 2. Okay, sort of a... and this requires planning. Meaning that if you have a child, that child will never ever be brought up like you were brought up.
Yep. Yeah.
No parents sit down and say, okay, how should I bring up this child? How to teach this child? How to make the child do better in life? The child actually picks it up by relation. I mean, when you have relations, you go around, the child picked up. We are not actively engaging ourselves to teach these children to look things forward. And you know now, with the Google around, they all a child don't believe parents. They go to Google.
Yeah.
But one thing the children are not learning, the millennia I'm talking about, they don't think about tomorrow. They don't think about next week. They don't think about next month. If this millennial people, if you are listening to me, just pay attention. I'm 80 years old. He's 40 years old. I am talking to you from experience. He has learned this experience 40 years ahead. He will do better in life than me. Yes.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. No? See, those of you who are listening, and if you have any questions, just type into that.
Yes, you can type your questions. Any question you have related to this topic, just put it down in the comment section. We will answer them as fast as we can.
So my advice to you, millennia, this is important. Forget about me. I'm too old already. Okay? I'm 80 years old. So you, listen, if you just think about tomorrow, next week, 1 month ahead, your thinking will explode. Because why? You have the possibility, the intelligence that you have is this. This is what you have never explored. What is making you do things is your past. Whatever you have learned, through your 5 senses, you have absorbed certain information. Using that information, you have developed some skill. That skill is your experience. Now, to go forward, you got to use that skill, use that, and look a little further. From intellect, slowly develop your intelligence. The moment, right now you're not using your intelligence. What you're using is your intellect, which is what you have absorbed. What you have seen, heard, seen, touch and all that, and something that you have done yourself, called experience. You put this together, and that's intellect. Intelligence is sitting below, not on top. And that intelligence has been helping you. Yes, ask yourself this question, young millennial. Look at it. Your kidney, do you give instruction to your kidney? Or your liver? Or your bowel movement? Or your heart? Do you ever give any instruction? It's going about automatically.
Yeah.
Because it knows it has to do that. This is developed by you intellectually. You developed it. You developed it. Okay? But you are using it for some purpose. It's okay. That many things are doing automatically, but intelligently being done. When a vessel is blocked, it knows how to create a way to go around it. All these are intelligence. Okay? Those of you who are suffering from any kind of illness and all that, you know, intelligently you can actually cure yourself. There are ways to do that, okay? But coming back to life, you see, you must use your intelligence can help you look into the future. Okay? Not 100%. At least you have a direction, clarity. That's what I want to do. This is how I want to see it happen. So these are little things, millennial. Please spend a little time. All I ask you is 1 minute will save 5 minutes. 5 minutes will save 25 minutes. So where you have to spend 1 hour and 25 minutes, if you just spend 5 minutes, you'll reduce your 1 hour by 25 minutes. Believe it or not. I have written a book on that, okay? And this is by practice, what I practice it. Everything that I do in life, I always sit down and think about it and plan for it and make it happen. I am not here because of the fact that I've just dragged myself here. Life is to be enjoyed. And the only way you can enjoy your life is to plan for tomorrow, plan for a week. And as you go along, this planning will allow your intelligence to surface. And when your intelligence surfaces, you will then understand this human self is extremely intelligent. That's how those few people are developing products, services, whatever that is. And They make the money. Now don't let the few enjoy it. Let all of you enjoy that. Okay? Starbucks was not just an idea like that. It was strategically thought. Somebody thought about it. And somebody was able to do something with it. Everything in this world today is like that. So who did it? A few people who sit down and think about it. Everything is developed because somebody sat down and thought about what to do tomorrow. In your life, you have a past. Your past is what you have gone through already. You can use the past to go to the future because time and life must go together. Otherwise, time will go this way, life will be stagnating. And because of that, we are always in the past, regretting what we did yesterday, or something that we did not do, or something that happened to us 1 year ago, half year ago, or. Let me give you one example. When you sat for your exam, you know that the moment you come out you are sitting in the hall and trying to do your exam. When you are doing the exam, you're pushing and pushing yourself to do your very best. Then you finish the exam, time's up. The moment you come out of the hall, suddenly your mind explodes. Yeah, I forgot this, forgot that. Oh, I should have done this. How come? While in the hall, how come the information doesn't flow? It's because you didn't plan. You did not think about the exam. You did not spend enough effort. If only you sit down and plan your exam, then you will not put pressure. The moment you put pressure on your brain, the brain has a clever way of stopping.
Shutting
down. See, this is what young people should understand. The moment you put more pressure on your brain, what happens is it's got a clever way. Stop it. Because why? It requires energy. And the only way you can do that, you must be calm. I'm not asking you to become a meditative person. No? Sorry, I'm going to meditate now. It cannot be like that, okay? It is something that you must plan for. Planning is part of the reviewing your own self.
Venga, you've spoken a lot about planning. Can you, if I'm listening from outside, what exactly is planning? What am I supposed to plan? How do I start? Okay, I want to plan my future, right?
Okay.
How do I start this?
First of all, don't think, you're a starter. Think about tomorrow. Tomorrow, what do you want to do? This week, what do you want to do? So you got tomorrow and you have 1 week. Mm-hmm. That's where you start. This is starting point. Then within that, say, okay, this month, what is it that you would have liked to see done? I don't even want to use the word achieve something. I want to, as an example, as a simple example, okay? Mm-hmm. I want to save money. Okay. Now, saying is one thing, doing is another. So you say, okay, this month, how much do you want to save? Say 100 ringgit, whatever you can afford. So that's a starting point. So everything has to be in a simple form, smaller, and then you build up. See, some people sit down and write a fantastic 5-year plan and a 10-year plan. You can do that later. It's good if you can do that. But to start off, simple thing is to, as a beginner, you must start. As an entrepreneur, the first thing to realize is, what would you like to see done? That you have done it in a month. What is it at the end of March, as an example? Mm-hmm. At the end of March, what would you like to have seen? All this I have done. And you tick, I've done that. Then you will see in all of what you have done, you have got a result. Are you happy with the result? If you're not happy, you can make it even better. So that, to me, is how you should start to do it rather than just talk about it.
Sure. So you're saying basically people should have clarity with what they want to achieve. Yes. Or get done in a day, within a week, and then slowly progress further.
See, we also must understand this, okay? You cannot be sitting down and planning and nothing will happen, okay? So in a day, you have 16 hours. Mm-hmm. What you should be doing is like this. After 16 hours, okay, you can actively use 4 of these hours just doing.
Okay.
You do that. Do it. The balance 4 hours, you have another 8 hours you have. There are 4, 4, 4. Huh? You see, you got 4 hours,
four times.
4 times.
Yep.
So 4 hours is a doing. The other 4, 4, 4, 4. One of the 4 hours you can use for thinking. Start to sit down and plan. Plan for maybe 1 week, maybe 2 weeks. Planning meaning this is what you want to do at that day on that time. You see, I'm saying it in a very simple way because we always get distracted by many things.
Yep.
So therefore, in my view is that part of it is something that you got to do it on a daily basis. Okay? So you figure out how. If you just think about things that you want to do, you will observe that the moment you spend a few minutes thinking about what to do, you probably do it much better than just jumping into it and doing it.
Definitely. Yep.
That is a fact, right?
Yes.
No one has to teach you that.
Yep.
But you know,
But many people don't realize this because they don't do it. They don't try it.
Why? Why didn't they do it? Huh? You can't tell me why.
I suppose habitually we think that sitting down to think about something that you have to do
It's a waste
is
of
a
time.
waste of time.
Exactly. But, okay, this is because we come from family that actually don't sit down and plan. Yet, if you look at all the TV programs that are being produced in the West, okay, somehow or other, all these movies will end up in a dining table, having a meal together, or on Sunday they meet. Some of the TV programs have this, as a family they meet. And they're talking about what happened and what they're going to do.
Yep.
One very good method in a family that should be done is families should have a dinner together. And then talk about what happened today, what is going to happen tomorrow. This is how you teach planning to children, if you have children. Because if you do that, you don't even have to worry about the children's career, education, and all that. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, young people, I have met families like that in Malaysia, okay, who spend this. And that family have done well. My children, they're getting somewhere. And the one who is conscious about it went back to the university a second time just to do what he did not do well.
Wow.
See, because of this dinner, just this dinner conversation. I'm telling you, it's possible. See, what is life for you? Happiness. You want happiness, right? That happiness is within you. It doesn't come automatically. You have to think about it. That's another thing that you must do. We don't do that. Okay. As a good example, Ikhram, you see, you wanted to get up at 5 o'clock. Are you succeeding?
Yes.
You are succeeding, right? How do you feel every day?
I feel really good. I have achieved a lot more because now my 5 to 7 is pure writing. So I sit down to write. I've been from struggling to write 4,000 words a month. I'm now doing, I think because I just started it for 3 weeks, but I think I will hit about 20,000 plus words
A
month.
A month.
Yeah.
See, what does that indicate? You plan for it, right?
Yes.
You just didn't pop up, get up at 5 o'clock. No. You plan for it, right? You see what you have done. What you have done is that you have thought and thought and thought and thought. Your intelligence have come up. And then captured what you want. And then what it did was, it went down into the entire system that you have, which is your whole human body. It began to program it. And then in the program, first thing is to wake you up at 5 o'clock. Second of all, you're waking up for what? To write. So, getting the right data together. This is a completely fantastic machine. It knows everything. Its intelligence is full of intelligence. but we are not making use of it. But we are using intellect. That intellect is your past data. It's what you have done and what you have observed, what you heard, what you smell, what you taste, and what you feel.
Yeah.
This is what it was. That record, like a tape recorder. And then uses the same thing in different angle, 360 degrees, goes around, and comes back the same answer. Nothing more than that. But you leave the intellect and go to your intelligence, which is deep inside you. That intelligence will surface. So then what happens is, because you cannot have the intellect and intelligence working together, intellect must shut down. Intelligence will come up. Because the intellect is the one that's bothering you all the time. What about this? What about that? Last time you did that. And it's going back. It's looking at something. You think you are looking at something new. No, you're looking at the old data and looking at the data in a 360 degree. You're stuck in the past. You want to go to the future? Start planning, plus thinking. I'm telling you this, my friend. The moment you think about the future, you plan your future, your intelligence will help you to go there. You see, nothing happens by accident. You have to create that environment to go there.
Absolutely. Yes, I completely agree with you. In fact, you mentioned just now that I'm waking up. I've planned for it, and there's a purpose to it. I think that makes a huge difference, because I've tried many times to do things, even wake up early in time, right? But without that purpose and that plan, that goal, I find it fizzles out.
Yeah.
But now that I know, okay, this is what I want to achieve, and it's planned one day before, okay, tomorrow I'm going to wake up, I find myself, even this morning, for example, without the alarm, at 4:45 a.m. I woke up.
Okay.
I'm like, how come? I thought it was 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then I went back to bed. Actually, I shouldn't have done it. I should have gotten up. But I'm finding myself being triggered automatically.
Yes.
Because before I sleep, there's a purpose for the next day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is something inside you, right?
Yeah.
But you have triggered that you are using your own self, using your intelligence to persuade yourself to take out more from yourself, because this whole human body is formed by you. You are the one who actually made this. So if you have the ability to put the heart in the right place, the kidney in the right place, and all that, it's done. Okay? And you call it human nature. Once you have this intelligence inside you, how come you're not using it? How come we are not using that part of it? Because we've taken for granted.
Yeah.
So we are not conscious about it,
Yes.
isn't it?
Absolutely.
Because we are not conscious about whatever we are doing, then, hey, Sarah, whatever will be, shall be. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So we are not actively conscious. See, planning is also becoming conscious. So I'm also bringing in the subject of consciousness, because when we are not conscious, we'll do things the way we have done it before. But the moment you become conscious, then you think about it. Then you're planning already. So planning is thinking. Thinking to do something which you have never done before. Then you are asking yourself to produce the intelligence to do the things in a different way. If you want to do it routinely, don't even think about it.
You explained this very beautifully just a few days ago. You said that most people, we do our jobs routinely.
Yes.
Work actually is routine. And over time, when we do something over and over, it just becomes routine.
Yes.
Adding awareness or consciousness to that routine work makes it intelligent.
Yes, that's right. From routine, you just ask your question, hey, can I do this a little different? Your intelligence starts already. Yes. If you said no, never mind. Your time for the cemetery is very near already. Because when you say no, that means you are not willing to develop.
Yep.
You are not wanting to improve. Then stay there. But the moment you say, yes, I could have done it differently. Okay? For instance, when you do a work that took 30 minutes, can I do this in 25 minutes? And the answer will be yes. then you'll find a way to do it in 20. You're using intelligence already.
Yes.
But
Yep.
you're not aware of it. All I'm asking is, hey, become conscious. The moment you become conscious, wow, try it. Whatever you do, okay, just sit down and say, hey, tomorrow I want to do this. Okay, what do I want to do? Why do I want to do it? Why? Because of what? See, you are, by this questioning yourself, you are actually increasing your intelligence. To me, thinking, planning is to increase consciousness. And with consciousness, your intelligence comes up.
So, in a nutshell, this is what you're saying, that if you want to make your day count,
Yes.
and you want to get control of your future and make sure that it's aligned with what you want today,
Yes.
just increase your level of consciousness.
That's it. That's it. The moment you become conscious, your intelligence will support you.
And this becoming conscious is a deliberate act,
It is.
not a passive
No.
act of sitting down.
No.
It's deliberately planning
Yes.
what I want to do
Yes.
tomorrow,
Yes.
the next day, and
Yes.
the following week, and
Yes.
so forth.
Absolutely. And don't be arrogant, See, you have your own way of improving your intelligence. Another person has another way to improve his intelligence. Your way and his way may not be the same. Leave it. But each human has the possibility of improving your intelligence by becoming conscious. And the moment you become conscious, by simple questions like, could I do this better? The answer will be yes. If you say no, that means you are not prepared to open your mind to make it better.
So if you've just joined us, we're talking about how to make your day count and understanding that what you do today is going to create your future tomorrow. We've been talking about planning to how planning can help do that, and finally, in a nutshell, it's about raising your conscious level. If you have any questions, please type them in the comment section. We'll be happy to answer them immediately. This is the perfect opportune moment for you to pick Venga's brain when it comes to this, because I have benefited tremendously from just being able to start connecting the dots from where I am at the present to where I want to be in the future. It creates miracles for you.
Actually, you are a very good example of how in the last 3 years, you have been able to understand yourself, and by just simple conscious thinking about yourself, your plan, you have put everything together, and life is much better. You will realize that again.
It's fantastic.
I mean, simple thing, like getting up at 5, and between 5 and 7, from difficulty of writing number of words, you are telling me I can do 20,000 this every month.
Easily.
I mean, this is an amazing thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it
so
is.
what you have done is you have yourself consciously become aware that I have to do this, I want to do this, not I have to do this, but I want to do it. When you want to do it, it'll come. When you have to do it,
You procrastinate.
you procrastinate. That's it, simple as that.
Yes.
And then when you become aware, conscious about it, wow, there's a difference between want to do it and have to do it. See, these are little things. No? It's not the magical formula. No? It's a simple formula. You want to do it or not? Yes. It'll come.
So Venga, we have 2 more minutes.
Okay. Oh, shit.
We have to wrap up soon. Is there anything you'd like to say in closing towards this?
Yeah, I tell you, all of you, millennial, please, one thing, you are always thinking about a lot of things in your head. Okay? How many of you, please do this simple thing. Whatever you are thinking, put it down on a piece of paper. Just write it down. Just write it down. Not type it down, not write it down. When you start to write it down, your thoughts will become images. You are controlling the way your brain is working.
Yep.
Okay? Because when you start to write, it will start to create compartments. All the similar items will come into one compartment. They will move the data. Like computers,
Yep.
You type everything, it goes to hard disk, right? You do not know where it is sitting, but if you look at the hard disk, in a program, you can see how block by block by block by block is there. Same thing. This was learned from the brain. So like that, no, you start to write, it'll create a picture, an image. So all related items will come. Then suddenly, you find that you are far relaxed. You are relaxed, and you are able to think better. Clarity becomes better because you become conscious. All this is a result of one thing only: writing what you are thinking. Good or bad doesn't matter. Just write it down. Then your brain will able to organize very well. So that's why it's not jamming all over the place, no, like rushing, like a flood like that, no. But it knows how to organize. You must create it yourself. There's no software, no. You can go and go. No, you cannot. Hey Christ, simple, no, not too difficult. Do it. Just do it.
So in today's talk, we have 3 takeaways.
Yes.
The first is plan.
Yes.
And don't need to go too far. Just plan your day, what you want to do tomorrow,
Yes.
and then the next week.
Yeah.
The second part is raising your conscious level,
Yes.
which is a result of being planning actively, deliberate,
Yes.
active action
Yes.
towards planning what you want to
Yes.
do, right?
Yes.
And finally, you've said writing,
Yes.
meaning gain clarity. Clarity will help you see the future better.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Simple, isn't it?
Yes.
Simple, isn't it?
Very simple.
Can be done, right?
Can.
You are the proof of the pudding. Okay. Very good.
Well, we've got to wrap up. Thank you very much, Venga. This was quite insightful, today's session.
I hope they use it.
I'm sure you will be using it. It's so simple. 3 things, 3 takeaway from this, right? And you will find that your future is exactly what you envision it to be now. We are going to meet again next. Our next personal development for entrepreneurs is happening in April. It's the first Wednesday. The date is first. So it's 1st of April. This is not an April Fool's joke.
Oh, no, it's not.
We will be genuinely here
Yes.
April for the next personal development for entrepreneurs. Till then, there's been a lot of there's basically not a lot, but 3 takeaways from today's program. Try and practice it and see how it improves your life. If you have any questions, post them. We'll answer them as soon as we can. Thank you very much.
Good night.